everyone, welcome back to Nursing Basics. I realize that I have not been that active and posting videos, which, I mean, is fine because it's not like I really have a huge audience or anything. I got the day off today because of the snow. I don't know if you can actually see out the window, probably not from that camera angle, but it's snowing a lot and it was just not safe for me to get to work. I decided to finally give you guys an update. It's been a minute and this is going to be covering weeks 10 through 15. Let's do this. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped making videos / being active probably about 5 weeks ago. I mean, I was recording myself, like my other ones like in my car and stuff, but once I was transitioned on nights, I had absolutely zero motivation to edit videos. But thankfully, I did get a day shift position, which is awesome. That means I'm gonna be back on my regular routine, which I appreciate so much. I normally get up between 4 and 5, just because I like to work out, get some stuff going, have some personal time. And yeah, I'm super grateful that now I get to get back on that routine. So these last 4 weeks have been absolutely phenomenal. My preceptors have been letting me know about my progress. I've been keeping track of it on my own, I guess, just mentally. And it's awesome to see the growth that has happened between the beginning of my nurse residency and where I'm at now. Even just the past 5 weeks I'm in, it's amazing. Like, I've developed all sorts of skills. I've cared for all sorts of patients, including trauma, like so just hit and runs, septic patients, stroke patients, what else? Autoimmune diseases, GSWs are gunshot wounds. Some really sad end-of-life patients that ended up becoming life center patients or organ donors. One of them that's gonna stick with me forever because I cared for them was a really young person and they had a gunshot wound to the base of the skull. It was not survivable, they were brain dead. So teenager, super rough, but I mean, it was cool to know that I was helping with maintenance of somebody that was gonna donate their organs. I believe it ended up going to 6 different people. They donated both kidneys, the pancreas, they split the liver in 2, and then there was some, oh yeah, heart and lungs, obviously. I even had the privilege to help out with an emergency situation that was not in the hospital. I was actually just at a restaurant with some friends grabbing some food, and a man was run over by a police car. Believe it or not, it was kind of terrible. I mean, it was really terrible. I'll post a link to that down below. But when that happened, I was there and my previous EMT training kicked in and I was able to go help him out, hold C-spine until police and EMS arrived. It was kind of a blur, to be honest with you, but it was cool to know that I was able to help out with that. And from what I've heard from the news reports, he didn't sustain any serious injuries, so that's good. He did have some lacerations, but nothing major or life-threatening. So yeah, it was pretty cool to be a part of that, to be able to help with EMS and the police to help orchestrate what was going on. Since I was holding C-spine, I was telling them which way to roll, like what happened, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I had to give a huge police report, then I had to go interview and all that stuff. So it was pretty cool to be a part of that. I honestly don't think most people realize what EMS and police have to put up with on a day-to-day basis. Like, I mean, you deal with some super serious stuff, you deal with super dumb stuff, and it's hard, man. Those guys do a lot, and I'm thankful. So police and EMS, shout out, you guys are cool. I appreciate what you do. Back to residency. So my preceptors have all been amazing, and I've been diligent in thanking them about it, making sure that they know that I'm appreciative of what they're teaching me. Also, another cool thing that I've really grown to appreciate is having multiple different preceptors. I've had like 6 or 7 of them. And it's really cool because it lets you see different perspectives. So I've had preceptors, some of them have been nurses for 15 years, some of them 5, 3, even just a couple years, but it's super great because it allows you to see how they approach scenarios, what they think like, what skills they can teach you, and whatnot. So it's cool, and it's really great as a new nurse because it just helps you develop the skills and the foundation to become a good nurse like them, which is why they're precepting, because they're good nurses, they know how to teach. And due to all the skills and techniques that my preceptors have taught me, I have consistently for the past 5 weeks been able to care for ICU level patients, which is awesome because going back to the beginning of residency, it was rough, but now I definitely feel more confident and competent, so I feel like I'm less likely to make mistakes. And by no means am I saying that I know everything, absolutely not. I just know when I don't know something, I feel completely comfortable asking for help and letting them teach me on what the best way to approach whatever problem would be. So I would much rather ask for help and clarification than potentially make a mistake that could harm the patient, could harm me, could harm everyone else. So it's always better to ask for help. It just reduces risk in every way. Another subject that I want to touch on is common throughout nursing, especially in the precepting realm, is that nurses eat their young. Now, that sounds terrible, and that's because it is. I can remember going through nursing school, already being stressed out with homework, quizzes, studying for everything. It was just awful. And on top of that, having to go to clinicals and then being potentially paired up with a terrible preceptor or just somebody that didn't care at all about nursing, which is terrible. Well, personally, I've not had this happen to me a lot. I can think of like one terrible preceptor that I've had. I know that my classmates for sure have had some terrible preceptors. I've even remembered some preceptors walking off in the middle of report saying, no, I'm not gonna precept, and they just took off. And I think that type of mentality is absolutely terrible, because how do you expect new grads, new young nurses like us that don't have that much experience to be on your level of competency and skill if you're not training us or don't want to train us? It's just like, come on. And those same nurses are probably the ones that complain in the future of us being terrible nurses. It's like, well, you kind of trained us. So anyways, I'll get off my soapbox, but what I was trying to get at is the unit I'm working on and orienting on, I'm in a neurotrauma ICU, is freaking amazing, dude. Everyone is super friendly, always willing to help out, always willing to teach. Also, one of my favorite things about critical care is the humor. The humor is freaking amazing, man. It's dark, it's brutal, it's honest, but I think it's great. I appreciate it, and most of the people in that type of work appreciate it as well. It's definitely a coping mechanism for all the stuff we deal with. I mean, we deal with some sad stuff, terrible stuff. We see brutal things, disgusting things, lots of poop, lots of pee, vomit, blood, just messed up stuff, family situations, and having dark humor is just a way to cope with it, to deal with it all, and it's just something we do. But anyways, that's a general review of what my residency has been like over the past 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's been awesome. Preceptors have been great. Patients have been great. I've been learning an exceptional amount. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 experience. I've got 2 more weeks left, and then I will be on my own starting at the end of February, beginning of March. I'm sure it's gonna be a huge learning curve, but for now, I'm just gonna focus on what I can do. Now that I've got a schedule and I'm on day shift, I'm gonna be hopefully making more educational videos, which is cool. I like making those. Speaking of which, I need to make a video on 3rd degree heart block. I'll probably do that later today. All right, peeps, peace out, stay awesome. Don't forget the basics of life, be kind and do good. Adios.